Our next section is on imaginary numbers. So what we're doing to begin with is deciding if an imaginary number is raised to a power, what is it actually equal to? Because there's 4 different types that we can go with. So when I have I, it's the square root of negative 1. So anytime I see the square root of negative 1, I'm going to put an I in its place, because that's really what an imaginary is. It's the square root of a negative number. So when I have I squared, I really have negative I times negative root I. Well, that just makes it negative 1. So I squared is negative 1. I to the third is this times 3. Okay, so what that's going to give us is the negative square root of negative 1. So it gives us a negative I. I to the fourth is doing this 4 times, so we'd get negative 1 times negative 1, which is a positive 1. So anytime that you get a remainder of 1, it's going to be I. A remainder of 2 is going to be negative 1, a remainder of 3 is going to be negative I, and a remainder of 4 is going to be 1. And here's what I mean by that. So because this is to the 15th, we could count every time. We could go from each one to the next. So I could write my letters down right here. And I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, at 15, it should be I to the third. Okay, but that's going to be obnoxious when we get to big numbers. So here's what we do instead. We say 15 divided by 4, because there's 4 choices to choose from. Well, it goes in 3 times, which gives me 12, and then a remainder of 3. Well, remainder of 3 is a negative I. So we know that those two match. So then I would take the square root of 32, divide it by 4. It goes in there 8 times, 32, gives me a remainder of 0. Well, a remainder of 0 and a remainder of 4 are the same thing. So if I have a remainder of 0, it's actually I to the fourth. Well, I to the fourth is 1. I to the 70, divided by 4, goes into 7 one time, 4, 3, bring down my 0, 7 is 28, and I get 2 as my remainder. Well, my remainder 2 is I squared, and I squared is really negative 1. Last one is 125. Divide that by 4. 3 times is 12, which is 0. Bring down the 5. Goes in 1 time, 4, a remainder of 1. Well, a remainder 1 is really the square root of negative 1, which is I, so we want to call it I. And that's really all there is to it, dividing and deciding which one to use.